thought this would be an interesting video to talk about because it's a common thing I see in the threads all the time, the comments. A lot of people are always saying, I don't fit in, my parents expect this of me and I can't live up to this expectation. I have this expectation of myself and I can't live up to it. You know, where do I fit in life? You know, what am I supposed to do? And you know, there is no supposed to. That's what I'm going to tell you this right now. There's no supposed to. Sometimes there are things you need to do to survive. You know, you need to make a living, you need to go to work, you need to sometimes do a job you don't like. Sometimes you got to suck it up and eat oatmeal rather than just, you know, sugary cereal in the morning to take care of your health. You know, there are realities that are a part of life. But at some point, you start to realize that, you know, there's a little bit of room for you to discover ways of tweaking and honing these realities. You know, and the only way you really understand how to tweak or hone these realities is to understand you, is to know who you are. And what's happened is we have a lot of people making decisions about their life because people are telling them who they are, and sometimes that isn't who the person is at all. If I tell you you are a tree from the time you're 2 or 3 years old, and I keep feeding you plant food and watering you, you know, there could be some health problems that come from that because plant food isn't always good for people, right? So it's the same thing with life and career. You know, a lot of times we have people making decisions for other people based on who they think that person is rather than who the person really is, okay? And so what you do is you discover who you are. You continue this process, and it is a continual process that goes on throughout your life. Okay, but what you do is when you discover who you are, you will understand what feels more right for you and what feels wrong for you. You're not going to be doing things because you think you should. You'll be doing things because you know you want to. There'll be a feeling, okay? So really what I'm talking about is there's a collapsing of the ego. And what this means is that when there's a collapse of the identity of who you think you are, you naturally will become aware and in touch with who you really are, which has feelings, sensations, and awareness. And with awareness comes discernment. You'll be able to make decisions for yourself. This doesn't happen overnight. So if you're watching this video for this to happen by tomorrow, this is a little bit, it's a little bit more intensive than that, you know? It can happen over years, it can happen over moments, it can happen over like decades. But the fact is that when you let go of other people's expectations of you, you even let go of your expectations of yourself, then who you are will become more apparent. You'll become more sensitive, you see? So a lot of people live in this place called the mind. They say, I am John. And John is this, and John interacts with people this way, and John is known for this, and all this history that John has. And then from there, they make all their decisions based on the idea or the story of John instead of the experience of being John, you see? And that's where the confusion starts, because all these decisions are made up here about the ideas of John, and some of these ideas were planted. Some of these ideas were given to you by your parents or your grandparents or your friends or history. But it has nothing to do with what's happening in this moment. It has nothing to do with the energy or the flies, you know, landing on my head right now. It has nothing to do with really being aware of what's going on in this moment, you see, because it's the idea, it's the story. You're thinking about that stuff, but you're totally disregarding, you're totally ignoring reality. And reality will tell you in any one moment where you should be. It's a very grounded thing. You just have to be in touch with it. And being in touch with reality has nothing to do with ideas. It has to do with sensations. It has to do with being open, vulnerable. You know, I've done a video on vulnerability and truth, but vulnerable to feeling what is here. And I trust that when you feel what is here, and sometimes there's suffering, sometimes there's depression, sometimes there's anger, and when you allow these energies to unravel, what happens? Wisdom emerges. And as that wisdom emerges, you will have a greater level of discernment, a greater wisdom, and a greater ability to find what is right for you in this life. And the beautiful part about it is that it will be filled with happiness and a movement of more joy, you know? And this keeps on stepping up. First there's a little bit of joy, then there's a little bit more, and then it just keeps on going. And before you know it, joy is what is motivating you in everything in your life, and not fear, anxiety, anger, you know, these things that are, you know, I'm not suppressing any of those things, but they're not the foundation by which I make my decisions from, you see. So harvest joy and allow that to guide you in your life. You know, harvest joy, and that will automatically pull you into where you fit. You won't have to come up with an idea of where you fit. You see? So joy is the path. Joy will give you the answer. And it'll also give you freedom. So thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.